Hey everyone, this is Jeff Risen coming at you with the DLP Daily. It is December 18th. Welcome to week 16. You get the Pittsburgh Steelers coming to town for the last Detroit Lions home game of the season. Hard to believe that it's come this fast, but that's where we are. Yesterday was Wednesday. Chris and I did a live show last night. You can catch up on that, and that's probably the best way to contextualize the rest of this week. Wednesday is a big day on the injury front, and today's daily will focus on some of the new things that are going on in the world of injuries for both the Lions and the Pittsburgh Steelers. No, I did not intentionally wear Steelers colors, repping Michigan Tech. Go Huskies. Go get them this weekend at Florida Tech. Can't wait to get down there. I will be watching the Lions game from Florida after my son gets done playing there. Anybody who's in the Melbourne, Florida area who watches this and happens to know of a good sports bar where I can go watch this, drop it in the comments, get into the Patreon Slack and let me know. First things first, and this sort of slipped through the cracks a little bit in the malaise of the loss after the Rams. Eric Hallett is no longer a Detroit Lion. The Tennessee Titans, who parenthetically put 3 safeties on injured reserve on Monday, signed him off the Lions practice squad. Hallett did play a lot in the Rams game. He played okay. He's a young guy that has some bright spots this summer. Another one of those players, and I've talked about this earlier, who doesn't really have a set position but can play a lot of different ones decently well, much in the way that Avonte Maddox did. Has some upside. So it's a bummer to see him go, but that's where we are. Unfortunately, other teams have injuries too. The Steelers certainly do. We're going to get to that in a minute. To replace Hallett on the roster, the Lions signed, and I want to make sure I get his name right, Keenan Garber. For whatever reason, I want to call him Kellen. It's Keelan Garber. He is an undrafted rookie out of Kansas State. He is a safety, decent size, played 5 years at college. Started actually as a wide receiver and had some run as a wide receiver for the Wildcats back in his first couple of seasons. Transitioned over. Was originally a UDFA for the Vikings. He washed out there. Then he was on the Colts practice squad. Kind of washed out there. Hasn't been on any team for a little over a month. Lions brought him in. Look, give him a try. This is when you make the experiments. You might find something in a late season practice where we can work with this guy. I don't expect to see Garber play in 2025 for the Lions, but this is one of those things where he's building towards, getting a future reserve contract and getting into camp next year, maybe getting back into that rookie mini camp and showing some things and getting a chance to prove himself in 2026 and beyond. We've seen that before. So good luck to you. But it doesn't help our secondary because Hallett played a lot in the Rams game. And it doesn't look like Kirby Joseph is coming back. Certainly not this week based on what Dan Campbell said. Unfortunately, it doesn't look good. Dr. Liao has, if you subscribe to his Substack, you will see his thoughts on it, but it's not very optimistic for the all-pro safety to get back. It didn't practice on Wednesday. Let's look at that practice report, by the way. I'm going to pull that up here. Taylor Decker got veteran rest. Kirby Joseph didn't practice. Everybody else practiced at least on some level of form, although it was a walkthrough. So it's estimated. You know how the Lions do that. A lot of teams do that. Tristan Colon, wrist injury, was limited. Giovanni Manu, we'll get more on him in a second, but he was back with a knee injury as a limited participant. Amik Robertson with his hand. And Sione Vaki. This week's injury for Vaki is a thumb. That's not a new one, but one of many that he's suffered over the time. He did play last week, played on special teams. Didn't play particularly well on special teams, but he was out there. Those guys were limited. And then the estimated full, and this is great news because Roman Harper was back. I'm sorry. Got him, Jonathan Vilma. Holy crap. My apologies. I'll do better next time. Thomas Harper was back from his concussion. Means he got through a full practice. He should be should be good to go this week, and Lions missed him. He is your replacement for Brian Branch. They don't really have a replacement for Kirby Joseph. It's sort of Avonte Maddox, but it was Eric Hallett. Getting Harper back would be very nice against a Aaron Rodgers-led Steelers team. Rodgers doesn't have the deep ball anymore. He's still a very dangerous quarterback, veteran quarterback, but he's not going to throw over the top very often. By the way, the Steelers probably have the slowest wide receiving core in football, too. That doesn't necessarily help that. So this is a good time to get Thomas Harper back. And Christian Mahogany, Dan Campbell actually talked about him. He was listed as a full practice, but Dan was still being a little bit cautiously optimistic on his availability for this week. It looks good for Mahogany to get back, and that would be great because if you watch the game, and I'm sure you did if you're watching the show, Tristan Colon was rough at left guard. Started the game, first couple of drives, he actually played pretty well. I thought his pass protection was fantastic early on. And then it devolved quickly and did not get back to where it needed to be. One of the questions that has come up a lot in Lions Land and in our Patreon Slack and on social media is why didn't the Lions go into Miles Frazier, who played pretty darn well in his debut against the Cowboys? And I wish I had a good answer for that. I don't. He's not hurt. Cologne did play. He's a streaky player. He had a ridiculously awful start to that Dallas game. And then once Frazier came in, spelled him, and they did the rotation, he actually played pretty well then, too. It just wasn't there this time. And I don't know why Frazier didn't get in. That's a good question to ask of offensive line coach Hank Fraley, who I don't believe is meeting with the media this week. But we do get John Morton. We do get Dave Phipp. We do get Campbell one more time as well. We'll see if that comes up because it's certainly something that I would like to know as well. I thought Frazier looked very good. This is the time. Look, Cologne, he's a veteran. You know what he is. Let's see what Frazier's got. Let's see if he is an answer long term. Get him some game reps. Pittsburgh Steelers are a fantastic challenge for a young player. If he can handle this, looking pretty good for 2026 and beyond, whether it's at left guard, center, right tackle, who knows where they envision him. He's look, if you followed this show at all, and thank you for doing that, you know I'm a big Miles Frazier fan. I liked him a lot in the draft process as a prospect. I was indeed the highest on him of any of the draft nicks that are sampled in the consensus big board. So I'm bullish. I'd like to see him. Let's get him out there and see what he can do. But if Mahogany is back, that's even better because while we like what we've seen by and large from Mahogany, and I was, again, a very big proponent of the Lions drafting him in 2024, he's been kind of uneven. He's been young. I won't say that he's been bad when he's had to struggle. He's young. He's getting the experience. He's learning what it's like to play against NFL defensive linemen. For the most part, he's doing all right. But there are times where he looks like a youngster, as does Tate Ratledge, who did not have a great Rams game upon further review. Rams are good. That's I can't stress that takeaway enough. And it was something that Chris and I talked about on the live show last night, something that I talked about in the daily yesterday. Rams are good, man. Like, there's no shame in losing to them, but there is shame in letting them beat you the way that the Lions did by just not playing to your standards after that great first half. It's going to be a tough one. It's going to be a tough one to get over that one because that was a critical game, and the Lions dropped it. So now we get the Pittsburgh Steelers, who are battling for first place in the AFC North with the Baltimore Ravens, who the Lions beat earlier this season. Lions could get the sweep of the AFC North. That'd be nice. Champions of the AFC North, third place, second place, maybe in the NFC North. I don't know. Got to beat Pittsburgh to have any real prayer at this. Steelers have some injury issues of their own, And the biggest one, and we talked about this again last night, check out the live show that we did, but TJ Watt did not practice. The Steelers also went through a walkthrough. He got injured by their training staff. He has a lung injury. I don't know how that happens, but it's sort of like what happened to Tyrod Taylor back in the day with the Chargers. It's not good. It doesn't look like he's going to play, which is a major bump for the Lions. Look, it's a very virulent argument in the circles of the AFC North. Who's better? ¿Quién es más macho? Myles Garrett or TJ Watt? Well, I'm firmly Team Garrett, as you probably know. But that doesn't mean that TJ Watt isn't a great player. He is. And him not being there is a loss for them. Just as pertinent for this game, the guy who replaced him last week is Nick Herbig. He didn't practice Wednesday with a hamstring injury. Between JMO and Reed and 4 years of Ifeatu Melifonwu, we know that hamstring injuries are a problem, not an easy fix. So if he's out as well, that is really tapping into their deeper depth. Yeah, we'll go with that. And the Steelers, look, they're a pretty good team, but they don't have that level of depth. They just don't. It doesn't mean that they can't get after the quarterback, but that is a lot of help for Taylor Decker and for Dan Skipper, who I expect to see a lot of as an extra tackle in this game, as sort of a blocking tight end, because the tight ends that the Lions do have don't block very well. They don't get open very well either, but that's what happens when Sam Laporta and Brock Wright are on IR. Injuries, man. The story of the 2025 Lions, unfortunately, is similar to the 2024 Lions with all the injuries. The difference is that the 2024 team overcame. 2025 team is just not getting it done as much. I do think that the injuries, other than Hutchinson last year, the guys were by and large, like the key players were still there. Kirby was there. Branch was there. Saint was there all year. Laporta was there all year. Goff, obviously. This year, it's been a little tougher. Kirby and Branch being out, Terrian being out. Laporta is sorely missed on the offense. It really changes the spacing. It also has changed the blocking. And you see that more when David Montgomery runs than when Jahmyr Gibbs does. But it's a loss, no doubt about it. And they just haven't been able to overcome as well for a variety of reasons in 2025. Hopefully 2026 is a lot better. The other Steelers injury, Isaac Semualo, who is one of their starting guards, also is out. He had a triceps injury. He left their win over Miami on Monday night. Yes, short week. Lions get the benefit of extra rest, an extra 16 hours of rest? More than that. I'm not good at math. Sorry. Lions have an extra day and change of rest going into this one as well. Semualo didn't practice it. Mike Tomlin talked about it. Mike Tomlin is the master of coach speak on these sorts of things, so it's tough to ascertain his availability out of it, but it doesn't look good for him. Much like every other NFL team, the Steelers do not have adequate offensive line depth. That would be a great boon for a Lions defensive line that needs a positive game, that needs to show something, because they did not play well against the Rams. Can we see a stunt, please? One. I don't want to get greedy and ask for 5. I just want 1. Just to see if Aleem and Reeder or Tyleek can do a simple twist. Let's see it. Let's see an ET. Let's see something. Overload blitz. Aaron Rodgers will never expect that because the Lions haven't put it on film. Now is the time. Go get it, guys. play with urgency, like your season could be ending if you lose, because guess what? It will. And that's not what we want. Got more injury coming, injury reports. Final one's Friday. Cover that when we get to it. Really want to see some more creativity from the Lions defense, especially the defensive front. This is something that Russ Brown and I yell at each other about in our DMs and texts. It's positive yelling, but it is we're just so frustrated that the Lions just aren't trying to do more creativity with the defensive front, because they have a lot of talent. They have invested a lot of resources there. I know Marcus Davenport isn't exactly anybody's real choice other than the Lions for being the end opposite Hutch, but he does have some ability to crash inside. Any number of things that they could do, and they're just not doing it. Now's the time. Let's see it. All right, we're going to call that a daily. I will be back at you again tomorrow on Friday. Stay tuned for a lot of content coming over the weekend and the next couple of weeks as we get into the Christmas game next week. It's an abbreviated week. Saturday's game between the Bears and the Packers again, and I will quote my radio colleague Ben Bosher, who took over as a guest host for the Huge Show yesterday. He said, "If you can't root for the Packers," and I know that's a difficult ask, root for the Bears to lose, if that makes it more palatable, because that's what needs to happen to help the Lions out. With that, make it a good Thursday. Y'all be good to one another.